Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache Snow, and you can find me over at nachesnow.com. That's NACHESNOW.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have another amazing guest today. It's the founder and chief of the Letter Mag, and I can't wait to tell you guys about her. But before I do that, just a few housekeeping things. First thing is, I am going to end my first season of Studio 78 at the end of this month. So this is one of the last 3 episodes of my first season. And then I'm going to take the month of August off just to regroup, work on some things, and start interviewing people for the next season. So a lot of the last few amazing guests I've had actually have been from recommendations. So please, if you have any recommendations, send them to me in email, hello@nachesnow.com, or just hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, a direct message, or just in a comment and say, check out so-and-so, so then I can line them up for interviews for next season. All right. And also, if you guys have any suggestions on topics that you guys want me to cover next season, please let me know. So just wanted to let you guys know that countdown. The next 2 guests after this guest are really amazing. We're gonna I'm gonna have somebody talk about this inspirational book that they're creating, and then the last guest is all about like nutrition. So I really think I'm going to round out this season with some amazing women. Okay. So what else do I have for you? I just finished my 100 Days of Nache, hashtag 100 Days of Nache. If you want to see all of them, of course, they're on Instagram, but I've also uploaded all of them to YouTube just so you could see my crazy 100 days. I can't believe I did 100 mini video snippets. And for those of you guys who don't know, I did that as part of the challenge from Ella Luna. And she has this amazing book called The Crossroads of Should and Must. And you can find the link to that book on my website, nachesnow.com/books. And you'll find some other books too. But this book in particular, I absolutely love. It's an easy read. But every year she does this little challenge, and she challenges you to do something creative for 100 days. And I wanted to get more comfortable with video and just used to posting videos. So that is why I did it for 100 days. Anyway, I am done with my 100 days, and I'm a little relieved because I was like, what am I gonna do? I mean, it was fun, but it's like a lot of pressure because I'm like, I gotta post a video tonight. I gotta post a video. But anyway, check her out. Check out that challenge, and maybe next time you can be a part of it. So last but not least, be sure to sign up for my newsletter. Like when you go over to my website, you'll see like sign up for my newsletter everywhere. And I'm going to make sure that initial email that you get from me will have my 2 printables. The first printable is that life diagram that helps you just kind of write down and figure out like what the next maybe 5 years will look like, but then also like what the next few months will look like too. And yeah, 5 years is a long time, and there's a debate about like, is it worth planning out that far in advance? But if you've listened to some of my past episodes, you'll know that there is I do believe in the power of writing things down. And even if you never look at it again, it's something about writing it down and like declaring it that helps you get to where you think you need to be. And you might pivot a little bit, but you'll be surprised at how fast you get there, or that you actually accomplish something you thought about doing years ago. So anyway, sign up to get that. And then I also have an organization sheet because people, like the number one question that people have for me is like, Nache, how do you do all the things? And so I have a sheet just to kind of walk you through that. Again, it's something that you could write down, but then you could put it into any apps or calendars or whatever that'll help you stick with it and get organized. So be sure to sign up for the newsletter. Like I said, you can find sign up all over my website, but you can also go to nachesnow.com/newsletter to get that. All right. And I plan in August to like really focus and create some more goodies. Life has just been crazy. For those of you guys who follow me on social media, you know I have my niece for 3 weeks. She's going to arts camp and she's originally from Chicago, but she's visiting me in the DC area. And so that's been keeping me pretty busy too because I've been trying to teach her hand lettering and jewelry making and all the things. So it's been crazy and I've been on a few trips. So this has been bananas. So I do look forward to having August off a little bit just to kind of catch up and then figure out what my next steps are. Okay, enough about me. Let's get on to the letter mag. Lauren Taylor is amazing. When I first saw her post on Instagram, I had to follow number one, the letter mag, and it's just the letter MAG on Instagram. Beautiful pictures. Then that led me, of course, to her website. And then I was just like, oh my God, I just love what her brand is all about because it's really just about, a magazine that is dedicated to helping women like fulfill kind of their purpose, and it's beautifully done. It's like a gorgeous magazine, gorgeous photos. Everything about it is just amazing. So I definitely encourage you to check it out as you listen to us. And in this episode, she just talks about like her journey, like what kicked off the magazine, why she decided to start it. And then also like, how she worked through some of the challenges and some things to keep in mind. And, she also has some very inspiring words about like, really going for your dreams and making sure when you wake up, you're doing something that you love to do. So lots of good stuff. I don't want to spoil the entire episode. So I'm just going to like start us off. You're going to love her. I know you will. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. I have Lauren here from The Letter. I am really excited to introduce her to you all and talk about like her magazine and just like her whole brand is really beautiful. But welcome, Lauren.
Hi, I'm so like doing my happy dance right now that I'm here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the letter, can you tell the audience just a little bit about you and your background?
For sure. So I am the founding editor-in-chief of the Letter publication. It's a triannual publication, and we are inspiring the everyday woman. And a little bit about myself. So I just recently moved to Orlando, Florida, and I'm so psyched. Beach is right around the corner. I am obsessed with being in my PJs, doing happy dances all over, being as embarrassing as they may be. And I'm all about inspiring people and just really going after your dreams.
Wow. So, what made you decide to start a publication?
Oh, great question. Okay, so I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but it's part of my story. So, you know how you end like a really bad breakup, and then that's when you're like the most creative?
Yes. Yes. I feel like that's when people get fit. That's when like you like do all this amazing stuff. Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's the craziest thing ever. I don't know what it is. So anyway, so that's what happened. At least part of it. Beforehand, I was really in this robotic mode of get up, go to work, come back, and sometimes hang out with friends and just, I don't know, I had this routine going. But there was nothing exciting me. Like I just was not excited and I wasn't loving what I was doing. I was in retail. I was a model for Abercrombie and Fitch. And well, we say model, but it's a sales associate for Abercrombie and Fitch. And I was just kind of stuck. And so I actually moved back to my hometown. And it was after a breakup and of like 5 years. So it was kind of in this mode of like, okay, like for dating someone for so long and being in that rut, you're like, well, who am I? Because I kind of left everything. And I just really asked myself, I'm like, okay, what can I do that I can actually survive off of, that I'm happy with, that will excite me? And I knew that I wanted to inspire people. That's something that's been in my heart forever. And I wanted to figure out how can I take that and actually create something. And so it legitimately felt like I don't know, people say a light bulb, or like I kind of felt like it was like a truck that hit me.
Right.
Where I got the idea, because I had previously, before, I had a blog, I had a YouTube channel, but I wanted to do something that was on a much bigger scale. And then a publication popped in my head, and legitimately, because my mom, she always said that I never crawled, I immediately walked, and I guess somewhat ran. And so that's kind of my mentality in life. And so within a month, I had pitched it to four of my friends, and we launched it within a month, and then it took off from there.
Wow. So when did you launch?
So I launched it back in 2014, August 2014.
And so can you tell me a little bit about that launch? Because I feel like I don't know, like I feel like magazines are the dream, right? Like I remember even being in high school, like one day I'm gonna do a magazine, I'm gonna have my own book, right? I mean, so I feel like a lot of folks, especially, well, I'm not sure how old you are, but like in my age range, like I'm 39, like you grew up on magazine, like Right On and like Ebony and like Glamour and all that, and so you're like, I want this magazine, I want my own magazine one day. But most people don't start their own magazine. So, how did that look? Like, how were you able to actually kind of publish it and get people to notice it and like turn it into a business?
Sure. So I'm 25 now.
Hmm.
And when I launched this, that was when I was, what, 22 and a half. And I was the same, just like you, like definitely in high school, I was trying to write my own book. I had written down, we had this dream book project where we would say where we are going to be when we're 25 years old. And I had in there that I wanted to have my own publication, that I wanted to be engaged, that I wanted to have a puppy, and then something else random about having some dance studio that never happened. So, but the main thing was to have a publication. And basically, what I did is the first thing that I did, I ran to Barnes and Noble, because I mean, that's like one of my dream locations of my publication to be in. And there's so much inspiration there already, because you had basically this wall of inspiration, right, of magazines.
Right. Hmm.
And I grabbed all of them because initially I wanted to be like that 17 or Teen Vogue type of ordeal. Like that was my vision for the publication.
Mm.
And again, it really just goes back to me kind of just going for it. I spent countless hours on Google trying to search how to start a magazine. How do you do this? And it was hilarious because there was like nothing out there. Like there was just
Mm.
no information. And so I struggled for sure. And I came across this program on iBooks where it was like iAuthor, where you were able to basically design your own book that you could put on the iTunes store. And
Mm.
that's where I started. And it's so funny to go back and look at the very first issue that we did, because the book's horrendous. It looks so bad. Like I just was like, what was I thinking? You know, it was like the first day of school when you take that picture, you're just like, what the
Right.
heck?
You're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that was hysterical, but I mean, it's where we started. And what I did, because I noticed in the magazines, and again, I was trying to be like 17 and Teen Vogue, that they would always have like very big, well-known people in there. And so that's
Mm.
kind of was my mentality back then was, okay, so we really need to I wanted it to be like a YouTuber magazine. So we need to get really, big known YouTubers in there. So then we started reaching out to YouTubers where legitimately, I don't know how many emails we sent. It was about four of us at the time, but we would
Hmm.
just mass email people and just be like, hey, like, do you want to be a part of this? We want to interview you. We want to put you in the publication. And I remember the first break that we got, it was Ava Godowitsky. I think that's how you say her last name.
Mm.
But it was a girl named Ava on YouTube, and she was huge at the time. She's even gigantic now.
Hmm.
And she gave us our first break. I mean, before her, I mean, I think we were only getting like, what, like 10 hits, and one of them was my grandma. So that's
Right, right.
um, and, and so she definitely gave us our first break. I think she had like a 500,000 followers at the time. And then as soon as we put her on the cover, we did a full on interview with her, and it was legitimately like, it was crazy the amount of responses that we got from that. I mean, it was like everybody wanted to be in it. Everybody that we then reached out to started saying yes. They started responding back to us, and they started taking us seriously. And I think that was really the turnaround, because it was first this thing that I had a dream in my head that I had, a thing that I was doing with friends, and something that I did not think that could turn into what it is now today. And it made it real. And so when that happened, I kind of, I guess, just reanalyzed everything. I was like, okay, so, because it started to become this thing of, at the time it was called Trend Magazine. And we were, I wasn't really feeling the whole top trends this and this and that, because what I was seeing was a lot of the stories that we had were really these women that were pouring out their hearts, and they were really just opening up their lives to us and sharing all this inspiration. And I was like, this doesn't really fit. And so we jumping, I guess, about 2 years in now to a team. We went from 4 to 15 at the time, and on a much grander scale. And I made the decision after 2 years to completely rebrand. People thought I was crazy, but it was the best decision I ever made. And then now being the letter and really being more about the inspiration and being able to touch people's lives in a very genuine way and to welcome everyone. And it's just changed everything now. So now I have a team worldwide. Our furthest person is in the UK. It's about a team of 22 girls right now and growing.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I'm just so unbelievably blessed of what it's turned into.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah, that's a lot of sales then to support a team. I was
I know.
like, so when you say you all blew up, like you blew up, like.
For sure.
Now, so many questions. Okay, so couple questions. Like, so the first question is, did you continue to stick with iBooks, or did you move over to another platform for the magazine?
Oh, amazing question. So, and a funny story with that question. What was happening was quite interesting. We stayed digital for a very long time. So with
Mm,
iBooks, it being on iTunes, we tried a program called Joe Mag for a while,
mm,
and people loved it. But then people started requesting print. And print is a whole nother monster that
mm.
I mean, it took me a very long time to tackle, because print is just so different. I mean, you can get away with a pixelated picture in digital rather than with print. So
Hmm.
we had to acquire photographers. We had to really just up the ante on what we were already doing to make it, the best quality. And so I think it took about 6 months to a year, to find the perfect printing company, to find amazing photographers who fit our aesthetic, and to really create this beautiful layout and design, and to really have the pages be able to breathe with the stories and everything like that. So yeah, so we did move, and we still have our digital available for sure. Now you can just download it as a PDF, whether in landscape or portrait.
Mm.
But now we've definitely had way more inquiries for our print rather than our digital, which is quite interesting because we live in such a digital world. So.
Yeah, it's something about print. Like I mean, every once in a while, like even for books, I'll like do Kindle. But if it's a book that I know I'm gonna love, like for example, this year, like I read like Big Magic, but I'm like, I need the hardcover, right? Or
Right?
magazines I really love. It's just like you want
Mhm.
that hard copy. I don't know what it is. It's like the smell of the ink or something. I don't know.
Okay,
Like,
you know what? I'm so happy you said that because my boyfriend thinks I'm crazy because I love this. But like when I go into a library or Barnes and Noble, the smell is amazing, and like the smell of the pages, like you said, and just the feel, I'm like obsessed. So
oh, it's so great. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm glad Barnes and Noble is still around, because it's just like my Zen place. Like,
Yes.
And so another question I have for you is like, so you have kind of these teams now that you work with. You also are working with photographers and so forth. But just to kind of take us back to the beginning, I think sometimes like when people are starting out, they don't know how big something is going to be. So you might not have like everything set up, like your LLC or how you're going to spend your money and, you know, all the kind of business side of things. So like, at what point did you know, like, okay, we as a team really need to figure out like how we're gonna pay each other, and then at what point too did you get together as a team and say like, okay, we need to start hiring people now?
Yeah. So right now, everything is still collaborative, and
Okay.
the reason for that being, and also volunteer. So right now, we're considered a passion project,
Mm,
and the reason why I did that is because we are, ever since the rebrand, we're now getting to a even a I guess a more so of a new place. Where we are business wise, because before we were just digital, we were selling it for free. We just started selling the magazine about a year ago, so we're still new in that sense.
mm,
And so even though we had all these readers, figuring out costs for it, figuring out also, like you said, the LLC
right.
and also the copyright and all that bit. So thankfully, my mom, she's an accountant, and I have a lot of friends in the business world, because I think this is very important. You have to surround yourself with people who, if it's not your niche and it's their niche, and they can share with you, you know, what can help you and what can make you thrive. Because
Mm-hmm.
business, I can have an idea, but it's not necessarily my niche. So I've surrounded myself with people as far as coming up with different plans and different things for the future to make sure that we're covered, and that, you know, my team is covered as well, and we're going ahead and implementing that. But I think one of the big, I guess, turnarounds is after this rebrand that we just recently did, because now we're starting to be in stores. We just got our second store, and so now it's on a different level. But I think if you were just starting out like I did, with it being digital and selling it for free, and then having, you know, your friends be a part of it, to me, I think that you can still keep it collaborative and volunteer, that you don't necessarily have to, you know, send out tons of contracts and that whole bit. Um, I don't think it's until you start selling it and making money from it, and then, you know, and when you get into stores and everything, does that start to come into play for sure.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because I think sometimes when people see something like a brand, they automatically assume like you're making like millions of dollars, right? And it's like I always tell people with my stuff, I'm like, I gotta pay like hosting fees. I've gotta pay like, you know, like, but you know, like even with the magazines, you gotta pay to get them printed. So I think people forget that there's like these behind the scenes costs. So even though it seems like maybe you're like rolling in the dough, it's like, not yet. Yeah.
I know. Well, that's the key, is not yet. It's not never, but it's just not yet. And so yeah, and
Right.
I think a lot of people too, like you said, they don't see all the background stuff. And I think it's very, because what I wanted to do, and it's actually something that I found through Google, and it was I think it was either the founder or the editor of a publication that was overseas, but she was saying that her cover cost, she wanted to make sure that whatever she sold the magazine for, that it would cover itself. So without any advertisement, without anything like that. And I wanted to
Mm,
do the same thing, because I feel like that is so, you know, business savvy in doing that. And I think, you know, when it comes to business and money, is that don't spend thousands upon thousands of dollars if you're not going to see a return. That should just be, you know, straightforward, common sense thing. And to always understand your worth, and especially if you are about to start and, you know, putting a price on it, or however, whatever you're doing with it, but always get the opinions of others, and to really just play it safe. You know,
mm.
I think in being in the publishing industry, there's so many things that you can do with it. I mean, we're about to have our first event that could be a source of income, and there's so many other community things that you could do. And it's not just about advertisement or just about readership. There's other things that you can do to create the experience. And I think that even with Darling Magazine, they've done a beautiful job of that, and then also
Mm,
Kindle
yeah.
too. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
perfect examples of that where it's more so about an experience rather than just one product.
And then, just going back a little bit too, I know you said when you got that first like YouTuber, that was kind of like your break. But what are some of the other things? Because I think sometimes people get stuck because they're like, no one's reading, no one's listening. Like, how can I get my stuff out there? Like, how can I get people to notice like my products? So I was just curious, were there any other things that you guys did in order to like get a following and get like more subscribers?
Oh, really great question. You're just like so many great questions. Uh, Side story, because and I
Mm.
promise it has something to do with this.
No
So
worries.
I remember my best friend, Felicia Tucker. She's amazing. We were out in Virginia. The town I grew up in was super small, and we wanted to do like a little like photo shoot. And we came across this beautiful, gorgeous field. But there was a sign. It was like, property of this person. Like if you're interested in renting it, or, buying it, call this number. And she was like, oh, this would be perfect, but, it's owned by somebody else, so we have to find something else. I'm like, no, like this would be absolutely perfect. Like, why don't we just call? And then she was like, well, no, I don't think he's going to pick up. And I'm like, no, I'm going to call. So we pull over on the side of the road. I call. And he picks up, and I explain, hey, like we would really love to use this field for this beautiful shoot. And he was like, yeah, of course, go for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, amazing. And then we used it. It turned out amazing. But that simple thing of, I feel like we have this fear in us of basically going for it. Basically, asking the big brands, big people, or even the small people, or even for help. And I think there's this mentality in our head sometimes where we're like, you know what, it's probably not going to work out. They're probably going to say no, and it's not even worth trying. And so like that day, like I made a promise to myself. I'm like, I don't care what it is. I'm just going to go for it. Like, and that is the mentality that I took with me when reaching out to people. And besides just Ava, I mean, we reached out to so many people, and I continue to do that to this day. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would say if you are trying to gain readership, or if you're trying to gain an audience, is to use the tools with like Facebook groups, social media, YouTube for sure. And if your friends, your family members, even if you go downtown, go inside the shops and talk to the people in the shops. I mean, people are always looking to collaborate. They're always looking to be like, okay, if I scratch your back, how can you scratch mine? They're always wanting that community. I mean, there's a reason why we're not on this earth alone. Like, there's a reason why there's all these people here. And so I think if people can adopt that mentality and to actually go out and do the footwork and do the talking and everything like that, your readership will grow and your viewership will grow. And especially with my YouTube channel, I mean, I was commenting on other people's videos. I was emailing other people and being like, hey, do you want to collaborate? I mean, that's just the way that I feel like you can grow and get that sense of everything, because everybody, I mean, especially when you talk to people, one of the best subjects is themselves, and they want to feel like they're a part of something. And so I feel like if you offer them that, then why wouldn't they say yes? So that's what I would say for sure.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely like wonderful advice, because I think there is like this fear in people, and I'm like, the only thing people can say is no. And what is no going to do to you? It's not going to hurt you, right?
It's
So
the same thing.
it's like, just go for it. You have nothing to lose. Like, yeah.
Exactly. I know. Nike had it right. So just do it.
Right. So I wanted to ask you, we talked a little bit before I hit the record button, but on your website, and folks, I'll have a link to it in the show notes, but it's thelettermag.com, just the letter mag.com. You have this section called snail mail. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy you brought that up. So snail mail is this beautiful thing that people used to do back in the day. Uh, yeah, basically it's sending a letter. You can actually on our website, you can send a letter, you can receive a letter, or you can publish a letter. And it's this beautiful handwritten note. And the idea came from me actually in middle school and in high school, we used to write each other letters in class if we were having a bad day or whatever, and we would give it to each other. And it was just so uplifting, just a couple of words of just, inspiration. And that's
Mm,
really the idea behind it. Our furthest, it's so crazy because we have, it's almost like a pen pal basically. And we
mm-hmm,
have people sending letters all the way from the UK and Australia and Canada, here to the US and vice versa. And it's just been so beautiful to see because, you never know who you can inspire. And
mm-hmm.
so many people where you would look at them and you would never think that they would need an encouraging note or they would need something uplifting or whatever. And the messages that we've received even thus far about just needing just a really quick, like, to make them feel like they're not alone and to make them feel like they can get through whatever they're going through. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing to see. And I think that we need more of this in this world with everything going on. And
Mm-hmm.
we're really trying to create a platform for that. And especially with the whole send a letter and receiving a letter, it's just been so great. And we have all of the instructions on how you can do it on our website, super simple. And it's just something that we feel that we can build a community around. And even with publishing a letter too, and I'm so excited because in our upcoming issue, we'll have a few letters from our features and then also a few letters from our readers. And again, it's just a little bit of peek inside someone's heart. And it's something that is very dear to mine. And I just think that we can do just so much good with our words. And I think if we can do that just as a community and as a society, then we can really change the world with that.
No, I completely agree. I'm like, hashtag bring snail mail back.
Yes, we should create media hashtag.
I know.
Amazing.
But there is something like really special about like receiving something in the mail. Like I hate it when like the digital cards came out because I was like, I don't want no like random digital email card. Like send me a card in the mail. Hand me like an actual card. I'm like, maybe I'm just old school, but there's just something special about like getting words from the heart in the mail. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because I am the most excited when I get packages or just anything in the mail. I mean, it's just there's that excitement there. So yeah, I totally agree with you. That's so funny about the digital thing because I forgot that there's digital cards out, but it's definitely not the same effect whatsoever.
Not even a little bit. Like even for I make like these laser cut handmade goods with my other business Creative Route, and in each package I sent out, I like do calligraphy on it because I want that experience. I want people like when they get my packages that it's amazing and it's so funny. I always like laugh. Sometimes my friends laugh at me because I'm like I don't want the business to get so big because then I won't be able to do that anymore. I have to go to like just like the print out it or the printed out labels, and I'm like no, I want to be able to like you know hand letter or use calligraphy on every package because it just adds to like I don't know the whole experience, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it.
I wanted to circle back to something you mentioned. You talked about having your first event, and it's so interesting. People keep like bugging me, not bugging me, that's the wrong word. So
Yeah.
people, so people keep saying like, oh, Nache, you need to do an event. And I keep saying like, oh, I'm going to do an event. But then when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, an event, all the planning, like, it just kind of like makes my like chest like tight. It's like exciting. But when I think of all the work involved, it kind of makes me a little nervous. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about why you guys decided to do an event and then what kind of event did you decide to do?
Definitely. Okay, so this is the part where I give so many praise hands and kudos to my team, because they are. I mean, and when I say that they are just the most phenomenal women ever, it's all women. It's 22 women, and they all have this love for what we do, and they are driving this bus for our event, and they are just doing the most just incredible job. I waited a really long time with the event because kind of like you, like people back before they would say, oh, like we would love for you guys to like do an event and whatnot. And I was so nervous because I was like, yes, so much planning and money and just so many things have worked
Right.
out. Exactly. And you're kind of like Chicken Little because you don't want the sky to fall. And, so
Right.
so much to balance. And so 2.5 years later, us having our first event, I just felt like it was one, it was time, but two, that we're celebrating our first store, which is it's going to be in Citizen Supply on
Mm.
August 12th, from 1 to 4. And they are hosting us, and we're going to have a photo booth and also some calligraphers there, actually, to do some artwork for people. It's going to be
Oh,
great.
wow.
And I just wanted to take some time to celebrate because, we're at the letter, we're such huge advocates for celebrating who you are and loving who you are, that I really needed to take my own advice because I feel like we've just been working so hard and we haven't really celebrated all that we've accomplished together. And so that's one reason. And then with the event, I really wanted to invite our readers out and to really just give them the experience that the magazine gives them, but in person,
Mm.
and to really let them see us in person and talk to us, and just to really add a face to the publication. And that's actually something else that I'm infusing into it, because I know so many people look at our Instagram and I've heard before that they automatically think like, oh, we thought like you were some big company. And I'm like, no, it's just us.
Right, right, right.
I want people to feel welcomed by it, and I want people to open up their hearts to it and just realize that, yeah, we're just people too, and don't be afraid to talk to us, sort of thing. And yeah, but as far as the planning goes, I think that it's quite funny because my managing editor, Brooke, is just, again, she's phenomenal, and she's really handling a lot of the details and everything. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier too, is to surround yourself with people who that's their niche. And
Mm.
so you can, and because you really don't have to do everything. That took a long time and lesson for me to learn, that I did not have to wear all the hats. I did not have to do everything. And I think when something's like your baby, you have that mentality. And so you have your hand in everything. And I'm really starting to step back, let them do their thing. And like I said, they're a lot of the driving force for this event. So I'm kind of at this point, I'm finalizing details, I'm writing the check, but they are they're getting, they're getting really everything together, and it's coming together beautifully. And so I would just say, if you are planning an event and whatnot, again, have an amazing team behind you who share that same passion and who can execute. And because I'm definitely more so of a visionary, and I can tell you how it should look, how it should be. And I just love for the people on my team who can handle, the details, and to really work with me in that sense. So I'm just super thrilled and excited, and it's coming up so close. I cannot believe that it's about to be July already. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I would definitely encourage you to I would come, shoot, like send me an invitation. I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Nice. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, so folks out there, I mean, this brand is beautiful. Like, even when I first started following your Instagram account, like I know your event's gonna be beautiful too, but I just love the photography, like your styling is just like so warm and inviting. And even though it's not about weddings, it almost feels like a wedding,
Oh,
and it's so fun.
thank you. Actually, no, that's like the biggest compliment ever, because I'm obsessed with wedding magazines, and and so the feel of it, the layout, everything, that's what it comes from. So thank you for recognizing.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like I'm married, but I'm still obsessed with like wedding stuff. Like I'm like, I don't really need a wedding board on Pinterest, but I'm just gonna have like a secret wedding board. And I'm like, but it's just because it's something about like how wedding photos are like styled, and the lighting of it is just very like beautiful and romantic, and I think it puts people in like a very calm place, which might sound weird, I guess, but your brand just has that feeling, even though it's not a wedding brand. And I'm like, I love that. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and see, and that's exactly, what I wanted it to be. And I'm so excited because we just are hiring on two new designers, and we're really going to we have our enough issue coming up, which is all about being enough, that you are enough, and that whole bit. And so,
Mm,
and we're making this new design, kind of like, it's almost like a cookbook meets wedding magazine meets planner.
love
And
it.
right? I'm so excited for it. Because I wanted something where people, they would want to take a flat lay of it, that they could take it to their kitchen to, grab recipes from, and that they could actually write in it and just be a part of it. And so I'm thrilled. That's one of my favorite parts, is to be able to just visualize everything and put everything together. And I'm just so excited about it.
No, I can't wait to check it out. I'll be like the first person that gets it. Like, that's awesome. Well, cool. Well, I just have two wrap up questions. And the first one is, have you found your passion? And it doesn't have to necessarily be related to what you do. If so, what is your passion? And if not, what are you doing to discover your passion?
I would say I definitely have found my passion. My passion is definitely being able to inspire people in their own lives, and
Mm,
to see others sought after their dreams. I have this quote that I always say, and it's, your dreams don't chase you, you chase after your dreams.
mm,
And I tell my team that all the time. And to see them really taking leaps in their own personal lives. And it's crazy because we have women from all ages, and it's all steps of life. I mean, our youngest one, our intern, she is about to be a senior in high school. And
oh,
then
neat.
I know, but then we also have women who are married. We have women who have kids. We have girls who are single and living up the life, and it's so beautiful to see just all these laces, because when we all come together, all of that somewhat disappears. I mean, we just kind of, everyone feels like the same, and we have this
Mm,
beautiful connection, and it's been such a blessing to see that. And I think I have this folder in my inbox and my email, and it's called Love Letters. And it's just from our readers, or from people who just are so sweet and just send us such positivity. And I go back and I read through that, and just how the magazine has resonated with them, and how it's touched their lives, or however. And yeah, it's such a fulfillment. I mean, if I wasn't doing a magazine, or I just, at the end of the day, it had to be something where I was able to see people reach for their dreams, because that's my dream. For others, it sounds weird, but my dream is for others to reach their dreams, because I know how important it is. And I've
mm-hmm.
been where you feel like you've lost yourself, you don't have anything else, and you're kind of just like, what is this? And just taking that leap of faith and just going for it. And I just want every single woman on the planet to feel that, because I think if they did, then it would just be powerhouses across the board. Like, there would just be so much goodness out there, even more so than what it is right now. And so that is definitely my passion for sure. And I think, the way that I found it was just merely having everything taken away, and to really look at myself and to figure out what gets me excited, what wakes me up in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. If you are not jumping out of your bed and doing a happy dance and getting, like, just really being like joyful, then you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
like, you have to change something, because it's not even about life being short. I mean, just the merely fact, like, you have to know your worth. You're not giving anybody discounts, and you
Yeah.
are just,
Yeah.
you have to understand that, and you have to go for it, and that has to be your decision to do that, for sure.
No, love it. Love it. And what's one thing you can't live without? It could be anything, like food, product, like person, like anything.
Oh my gosh. I would say, okay, I know my girls are gonna like crack up at this, because I say this all the time, but I cannot live without pizza. Like that is
Yeah.
of like all the things in the world. Like
You're
it's
like, I need my pizza. Like,
like it's really like Shay, if I could explain to you how bad it is, like I know my pizza guy. Like it's that
no.
like I know
He's
like
like, hey, Lauren.
like for like seriously, I mean it's so ridiculous that it's just I mean I'm almost in a love affair with pizza but it's just it's so good. It's something that I never will give up in my entire life. It makes me the happiest person. It's
Oh,
funny
wow.
because I think it was for my boyfriend and I's like I don't know, it was like a 3-month anniversary or something silly like that. But I actually called up the local Domino's and I had them draw a picture on the inside of the pizza box of us, and it was they did it so well, and I had it delivered to him. Like I have a serious love for it. So yeah, that's something I would never live without.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so ridiculous saying out loud.
Hey, you know what? But it makes you happy. As long as it makes you happy, like
Right,
that's all that counts.
exactly.
And then, can you just tell the listeners where to find you, your website, your social media handles, where to buy the magazine?
Yes, no, I would love to. Okay, so you can go to thelettermag.com and you can find the letter at the letter mag on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Instagram, and then you can find me at Lauren Tay, so it's LaurnTay on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Snapchat. There's so many social medias.
No, right?
And I know. And then you can also find me on YouTube at Taylor Moments. But if you just go to thelettermag.com, then you can see all that information. And you can also shop our issue at thelettermag.com, or our stock is at the Citizen Supply in Atlanta, Georgia, or Heritage in Los Angeles, California.
Perfect. I will make sure to follow you everywhere too. And thank you for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun.
I know, right? Like I'm so amazing. I'm so honored. You're doing your thing and I'm so excited to even be talking to you. And no, it's such a great time. Like legitimately, like I thought that we were just like having a slumber party. So this is
I
amazing.
know, right? Thank you so much. Hey, folks. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I know I sure did. Just a couple things, couple of nuggets from this episode. I love how her passion project is now turning into like this full-time business, but that she treated it as a passion project. And I think that is why she has been able to get the success that she has achieved so far. And she has this awesome quote: your dreams don't chase you, you chase after your dreams. And I am a firm believer of that too. Like, if you really want something to happen, like if you've been dreaming of something, like you need to chase after it. You need to work hard and do what you need to do in order to accomplish it. And I think Lauren is a perfect example of that, because you might look at all of her beautiful social media accounts and think like, oh wow, she has thousands of followers, she must be like this overnight success. But as you've heard here today, like, no, she's worked for this. She used to give out the magazine for free. You know, she's rebranded it. She just started selling it last year. She just got into the second store this year. So things are happening. But in the beginning, she spent time just building a community around this passion project. And then now, like, all of her hard work is paying off. And that's what happens. Like, you just have to do the work, and then eventually you'll reap the benefits from it. And I really just love her kind of like sense of community. And I feel like that's where a lot of her success has come from. It's because people do like being a part of something special. So from her snail mail, which you guys should definitely check it out, where you could send, receive, or publish like a letter, hashtag bring snail mail back, or just her having this future event in August to kind of bring some of her readers together just to kind of talk and have fun and take photos and get art made. I mean, it's just like everything she does is about the people. And I really, really love that. And I mean, if you even think about it, like, her passion product was founded on like volunteers. So it's that collaboration that allowed her to get where she is today. So anyway, just hope that this was as inspirational for you as it was for me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Her episode show notes are over at nachesnow.com/29. I also have the social media links to her magazine and her personal account. And no, her personal account, even though her name is spelled Lauren, on her personal account, it's Laurn. So without the E, Tay. But all of that is on the show notes. And then, of course, you can find the letter mag, like she said, the letter mag. And I have all the links to like the iBooks author, mag, and some of the other magazines that we mentioned, like Darling and Kinfolk magazine too. So, anywho, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. You can go over to nachesnow.com/iTunes. If you're Stitcher, nachesnow.com/Stitcher. And if you're just Android, even though Stitcher is on Android and iPhone, but if you don't like Stitcher, you can go to nachesnow.com/Android if you're Android. And please subscribe to me. And don't forget to just head over just to nachesnow.com and just sign up for the newsletter just to find out what's going on and what I'm doing. Last but not least, please, please, please rate the podcast, nachesnow.com/iTunes. If you rate me 5 stars, it really helps me out a ton. And if you see things on social media, if you like it, share it, comment, that also helps bring people to my website and to my podcast. And thanks again, you guys, for giving me your time, which I know is precious. And I hope you have a beautiful morning, noon, or night. Take care.